Greetings, everybody. Wanted to go into symbolism today and the dramatization of what we see our world to be and call as human nature. But it's not really. Is most of the time it's just versions, perspectives of human nature or whatever it is that we're talking about. In this quote, if you talk to the animals, they will talk with you, and you will know each other. If you do not talk to them, you will not know them. And what you do not know, you will fear. What one fears, one destroys. Chief Dan George. So, I wanted to kind of hit off of this quote and go into the idea of what we do not know, we will fear, and how there are systems and programs in place that we have running on a regular basis that are designed specifically to install fear and to install a sort of unconnected, disconnected, or a version, a focus of reality, of one version of reality, in order to maintain a program, whatever that program may be. And the majority of the programs that are running on the television, on the radio, and personalities in Hollywood and the politics all over the world, the separation game, those programs are based in fear, and that whole vibration of fear that shakes up every other vibration that we have going in our everyday life. So the subconscious frequency that gets pumped out a lot of the times is the intent, or is anchored in fear, or in even closer, even zoomed in more, a disempowerment or a removing of an idea that any kind of idea that is empowering. So it's not just an addition of something, but it's not like adding, just like adding some kind of ideas, but it's also a removing, inherently removing connections, and inherently removing truths about certain things, and installing another version that is laced with ideas like the political game and the corporate powerhouse, and the different versions of separation that we have running within our own psyche that make us dislike ourselves, even hate ourselves, and kill each other, and kill, and just kill, period, to destroy. That's the main thing. Our creation or destruction is our choice, and we see what choices are being made on the mainstream version of what they call human nature. It's based on destruction and war and separation, and a version of humanity that is very narrow-minded and controlling and patriarchal and imbalanced, and it's on every level. It's a destructive algorithm for the masses, and a controlling and hoarding sort of filtering algorithm that is set up for a particular version of humanity, an idea, what we call people who have control or whatever, that all that stuff. These are just ideas that we have, because when it comes down to it, the people are the ones that are alive. The people are the ones that are the numbers. The people are the ones with the heart. The people are the ones who already have what it is that we're asking for. We just have to realize it. And then there are some people who have been doing this for a long time, sharing that empowered magic through the arts, through whatever it is that they have been called to do by their own higher selves or their own connections. Everything is magic. Everything is a song. It's not linear. That's just one version. It's not. That's just one version of reality. The patriarchal idea of order and chaos, and that's just a very straight line is boxed in, because for example, at a drum circle, there's a harmony to the drum circle. There's a song to the drum circle when everybody plays their kind of whatever their frequency is, whatever their mood is, with each other, not just for one particular idea, but there's another layer of listening to each other that we can play music with, but on the outside, to somebody who has a particular version of rhythm or harmony, they might not hear it, and it sounds like chaos. It sounds like not music, whatever that sound is. But really, it's some of the most potent stuff when you get down to it. The sounds that people make when there are no judgments, there are no limitations, there are no ideas and straight line boxes, and there's a space beyond. There's a space beyond the ideas that get pumped through the system. So going back to the beginning of what I was saying, what I wanted to get into was the dramatization condition that gets pumped out, and separating us from our connections to the planet and the animals and each other and plants, specifically now, like plants into the cannabis and the cannabinoids that are inside of our own bodies. Like how can any man make a law that is within our bodies is a question enough. Like it affects the inside of our body. Like we already exist as part of this plant, as a connection to this plant. These are very like questions that a disempowered person won't ask, because when we do these questions like this, and the answer is in the question. So when we ask a question that already comes from a disempowered space, and our answer is to first empower ourselves and figure out what it is that we're really asking. And so to find out our own empowered space and who we are, we don't need to ask anybody else. You just can observe your own surroundings And that's a lot of where my inspiration comes from, is just walking with people and talking with people and just being wherever I am as much as possible. That means to focus in a space of not separating myself with any kind of ideas or spaces that kind of don't match up with my highest whatever that feeling is that you get when you're in a deep meditation, or you're in a deep connection or a realization, or akin to love, like what love would feel like, or as a space, as if these places were the locations, as if these places were like scents and feelings and what all this stuff really feels like as locations, and then bring that wherever we go, and then share that with people, and also observe that with people in those moments. Because when we're more of who we are, that allows other people to be more of who they are, beyond the conditioning and beyond the ideas that we carry around with each other. Because a lot of the information, like these stories, these connections to us, to our own human nature, our real human nature, as being also birthed out of the planet, now and now wow. So now that systems are crashing and crumbling in, imploding on themselves, we are finding our own ourselves in a space of, well, what's next? What's coming next? And that right there is a very important space to be in. It's very important to understand where we are and where it is we have been, in order to understand where we would like to go. Because if we don't figure out where we have been, we won't understand where it is that we're trying to go. Our roots are being planted right now. The soil is being uprooted right now. Everything is coming up right now. Yeah, it is the beginning, the day. It's so the magic that's on the television is connected to the magic that's on the land, that comes from where information like this comes from. Like, where the same space, it's just utilized in a different way with a different intent to it. This space is like mostly not intent, it's just an awareness of these kind of understandings. These writings in this book are mostly based on awareness of one's surroundings and one's reflection of as above, so below, and the complexities of not only the human space, but the complexities of the relationship between a planet and the heart and the animals and everything. What is that relationship? When did it start? How deep does it go? Why so much drama and confusion to keep us away from what? Our own empowerment. Most of the time that's it, because once you become an empowered being, there is no fear that can hold you back. You get separated and spaced out into all for one and one for all and one person, and you're really just an entire planet and a reflection of a galaxy and an individual on a planet covered with galaxies walking on a planet. This is who we are. We are this star stuff. So when we empower ourselves, we see how far it is we can go. And there are no limitations unless we create those limitations based upon whatever it is that we think our reality is. Whatever it is that we think our reality is. And then once we start to feel our reality and reflect that reality beyond preconceived notions of who we are and what our evolution is and what our connections are here and there, then we'll be able to turn on the real human light, balanced with all.